First of all, I sent my prayers and condolences to the family members and friends of the two Polish who unfortunately lost their lives to this incident where a missile has struck an area. As what I have to know that we are still probably investigating it here, but we're calling this a stray missile that has unfortunately hit. I believe it may be a farm place here or like that in the village of Poland here, but the investigations is underway. But whether or not it would have been indeed a Ukrainian defense missile, or whatever the missile is, or some people are saying it could be a Soviet era missile that hit the area. But as a result of this, we're updating the travel advisory according to the Ukraine war. Russia and Belarus is labeled as a travel ban. That's just because of we're not going to stop. Well, we're not going to stop you, but Vladimir Putin is going to It is here, but we're also going to urging Russians in the United States to not to travel to consult with the immigration officials to have their visas extended because of Putin's latest attempt on stripping, not only imprisoning people who protest the war, but now stripping their passports away for those who oppose the war, which we could understand the point where they're committing some serious criminal offenses here, or but when it comes to stripping a passport to a Russian, to your citizen, who opposes your war, is appalling, and I have to say it should be a human rights violation. So we are right now advising, we're not going to stop the Russian citizens from going back to Russia, but it's just an advisory board to consult to consider an extension to your visa to stay indefinitely until this war ends and Putin changes his behavior. So anyway, we're right now updating the travel advisory. We have Moldova has changed from a total travel advisory to a partial travel advisory, and we're going to have to express this. The countries in tan or orange is now a partial travel advisory, which means non-essential travel. It's within 50 miles of the deep away from the Ukrainian border. Is where it should be discouraged to prevent so you can to prevent a to prevent entry from, in case of another stray missile hits an area, and it can be it's for your safety here. But it's it's within 50 miles of the Ukraine border on these 5 countries colored in tan. So in other words, if you're more than 50 miles away from the border, you should be okay at this point here. But this is a partial travel advisory, which may include a good chunk of Moldova. But it also does Romania, which is the north border, Hungary, which is in the northeastern part, far eastern Slovakia, which is within 50 miles of the border, and southeastern Poland, which applies to within 50 miles of the border. That's the latest travel advisory, and Ukraine is Non-essential. Ukraine remains a full travel advisory at this point, which means non-essential travel to Ukraine is discouraged as of this point. And I'm going to have to leave it off with my comments of this war. Whatever, this thing is, Putin is bearing responsibility of the effects of outside the borders of this point. It's time for Putin to stop this war now. The latest barrage of missiles that have been waging is just another way of throwing a fit because you lose in the battle. I kind of find it hard to believe a person named Vladimir Putin would oppress his Russian citizens in such a way that he cannot travel outside the country because he opposed the war. I call it hostage for political means. And especially couple the draft that Vladimir Putin is drafting more people into forced fighting of the war. That on top of forced deportation and forced adoption to a Russian family of this one, I kind of find it I have to say, there is something wrong with Putin about the plans of doing this. Especially the holidays are coming up. Many Ukrainians are wondering if they're welcoming into the new year with more missiles or a new year. Or I think Putin can finally do the right thing. Do Ukraine a favor. And not stop the war, but, bring back the illegally annexed territory. And so that Ukraine can start the new year on a peaceful note. And with its rights that are restored. Like this. I gotta also say, Vladimir Putin must release every prisoner who opposed the war. I'm also asking Putin to rethink the idea of stripping passports away from your citizen in order for them to force to force the beliefs onto a citizens by punishing citizens because they oppose the war. Right now, as of the Polish missile, right now they're investigating it, but it's most likely a stray missile of some sort. But even if it's a Ukrainian missile, we're not going to fault Ukraine because Ukraine is vigorously defending Russia's barrage of missiles. Look, this is 80 missiles Russia is shooting to Ukraine. I think it's time for Vladimir Putin to stop this war, withdraw your troops, engage in bridging your differences between Ukraine, and honor the rights, basic rights to your Russian citizens. This includes a fair and free election and fair and freedom of speech. That's what I have to say about this latest developments. And it's okay.